Can you really beat the house in Las Vegas, a place designed to make you lose? One man, a brilliant mathematician, defied the odds and managed to win millions, rewriting what we thought was possible in the world of gambling. The allure of casinos lies in their promise of fortune, but behind the flashing lights and slot machines are meticulously crafted systems meant to ensure that the house always wins. This math genius, however, wasn't just any gambler. He used his deep understanding of probability, statistics, and game theory to turn the tables on the casinos. His incredible story isn't just about luck, but about using science to break the mold and achieve what seems impossible. Las Vegas, with its glitzy lights and non-stop action, is more than just a tourist destination. It's a symbol of the dream to win big. But casinos are built on one principle: the house always wins. The odds are carefully calculated, and the games are designed to ensure that, in the long run, gamblers lose. The term house edge refers to the built-in advantage that casinos have over players, ensuring they make profits from nearly every game. From the spinning roulette wheels to the shuffling of cards at blackjack tables, everything operates within a framework where the house's odds are slightly better than the players. Despite this, the idea of beating the house has always captivated the imagination of gamblers. Stories of massive wins against impossible odds make headlines, feeding the fantasy that anyone can get lucky. But as the saying goes, the house never loses, and for most people, that's the reality. Yet a few brilliant individuals have looked past luck and sought ways to turn the game to their advantage, believing that with the right strategy, the system could be cracked. Our protagonist wasn't just another gambler throwing chips onto the table. He was a math prodigy with a passion for probability theory and an obsessive curiosity about how systems work. From a young age, he displayed an uncanny ability to solve complex problems, especially those involving numbers. This genius-level skill set led him to a prestigious career in mathematics, where he specialized in game theory and statistics, fields that would later serve as the foundation for his gambling strategy. One day, a spark of inspiration hit him. Could the same principles he used to solve mathematical problems be applied to gambling? Most people view casino games as pure chance, but he saw them as systems governed by rules and probabilities. His eureka moment came when he realized that certain games, like blackjack, weren't purely random. With enough information, patterns could be detected, and the seemingly unbeatable odds could be shifted in his favor. Armed with this revelation, he set out to develop a strategy that would forever change the way casinos viewed intelligent gamblers. At the heart of his success was a deep understanding of probability and game theory. While most gamblers rely on luck, he treated gambling as a mathematical puzzle. Blackjack, in particular, caught his attention because it's one of the few casino games where a player's decisions can influence the outcome. Using probability theory, he calculated the statistical likelihood of various card combinations, which allowed him to predict the game's progression more accurately than others. The math genius employed a method known as card counting, which involves tracking which cards have already been dealt. By keeping track of the cards, he could determine when the remaining deck was favorable for the player and increase his bets accordingly. While the strategy requires incredible focus and discipline, it allowed him to consistently beat the game. Card counting itself is not illegal, but casinos frown upon it and will often ban players suspected of using this technique. For him, discipline was key. He strictly adhered to his mathematical model, betting aggressively only when the odds were in his favor and pulling back when they weren't. His first few wins were modest, but they provided the validation he needed to keep going. With each trip to the casino, he refined his strategy, and his winnings grew. What started as small victories soon snowballed into larger and more frequent successes. He was no longer just a math whiz playing for fun. He had become a professional gambler, and the casinos began to take notice. As his confidence grew, so did his bets. The stakes were higher, but so were the rewards. At one point, he was pulling in tens of thousands of dollars in a single night, and within a few years, his winnings had surpassed the $1 million mark. Yet, the road to riches wasn't without challenges. Casinos are known for their security and vigilance, and he was constantly under the threat of being caught. Managers and security teams began watching him closely, suspecting that something wasn't right. However, his deep understanding of probability and his flawless execution of the strategy kept him one step ahead. Despite his mounting success, he knew that his winning streak wouldn't last if he didn't find ways to stay under the radar. Casinos are notorious for monitoring players, using everything from surveillance cameras to facial recognition software. To avoid detection, the math genius employed a range of clever tactics. He would switch casinos frequently, playing at different locations on different nights to avoid drawing attention to himself. Eventually, he realized that to maintain his winning streak, he needed help. He recruited a team of players who were equally skilled and trained them to use his strategies. This team-based approach not only allowed him to minimize his presence in any one casino, but also spread out the winnings to avoid suspicion. To further throw off casino surveillance, they would use disguises, fake identities, and even switch roles, with some members playing decoy roles to distract attention away from the real card counters. As his winnings mounted, so did the casino's efforts to stop him. They began tightening their security protocols, deploying more advanced surveillance technology, and educating their staff about the signs of card counting. Despite his best efforts to stay undetected, the casinos eventually caught on to his strategies. Many of the major casinos started sharing information about his team, and they were blacklisted from most of the venues in Las Vegas. New measures were introduced to make card counting more difficult. Casinos implemented continuous shuffling machines, which eliminated the advantage that card counters relied on. As the technology evolved, the game of blackjack became nearly impossible to beat through traditional methods. The math genius and his team found it increasingly difficult to keep their winning streak alive, and eventually their reign over the casinos came to an end. Though his days of beating the casinos are behind him, the legacy of this math genius lives on. His story has become the stuff of legend in gambling circles, inspiring countless others to study the mathematics of casino games in hopes of repeating his success. His exploits have been immortalized in books, documentaries, and even feature films, cementing his place in gambling history. Beyond the media attention, his success changed the way casinos operate. Many of the security measures in place today, such as advanced surveillance and player tracking, were developed in response to the strategies he and his team used. His journey has also taught aspiring gamblers important lessons about discipline, risk management, and the true nature of probability. While the casinos have adapted, his story remains a powerful reminder that with the right knowledge and approach, even the most unbeatable systems can be challenged. The story of how a math genius beat the odds and won millions in Vegas is a remarkable tale of intelligence, discipline, and risk. His success wasn't the result of blind luck. It was the product of years of study, a deep understanding of probability, and the courage to defy the norm. Thanks for watching, Casino Crew. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.